If you're talking to someone that's claiming to be a professional sports bettor or claiming to be a professional handicapper, one of the easiest ways to tell if they're actually obviously full of shit or if they're a complete liar is to ask them their bankroll management recommendations. There's guys on Instagram and YouTube telling people to bet 10% of their bankroll per game. There's dudes, I saw a video, this guy made a complete salesman. This guy's a complete salesman. He's not a professional sports bettor. He's a complete salesman. Everybody knows this. He's telling people to bet 20% of their bankroll per game on his plays. Absolutely insane. Right? And every professional sports bettor knows it's obviously, he's a scammer. It's a joke. It's a whole sales pitch. It's all marketing. But for the hundreds of thousands or millions of sports bettors out there that genuinely think betting 20% of your bankroll per game is something that's feasible, I feel bad, and they're just completely getting screwed, all right? Let's say you're winning at 55%, which is over the long term, let's say you're winning at 55%, which is a winning sports bettor. If you're betting 20% of your bankroll, hitting at 55% in the long term, over the course of 100 games, you are going to lose your entire bankroll. Your entire bankroll is going to go to $0 94% of the time. There is a 94% chance that your entire bankroll is going to go down to $0. Doesn't matter if your bankroll is $100 or $1 million. If you're betting 20% of your bankroll every game and you're winning at 55%, which is a winning clip, you are going to lose your entire bankroll 94% of the time. Over 100 games, just 100 bets in. Now let's take it further. 1,000 bets in. If you're betting 20% of your bankroll, 1,000 bets in, the chances of your bankroll going to $0, absolutely nothing, is 97.5%. Sportsbooks make billions of dollars off of people believing stuff like this. And it's not only managing your unit sizes, guys, it's chasing. Do not chase. I've said it a million times, I'm gonna keep saying it, and everybody does it, right? When you lose, you want to get it back. When you haven't gone through lulls, highs and lows, and still made it out a winner, there's something inside you that wants to validate yourself with external forces, aka money. The money in your bank account, the numbers on the screen, and you don't truly think that you're the person that could get it back no matter what. When those numbers on the screen go down, or you lose a little bit of money, you instantly get insecure, you instantly get freaked out, and you say, I need to make this money back. So if you haven't convinced yourself that you are the person that could go to zero and get it back no matter what, you're gonna freak out when you lose. So when you lose, what do? You wanna chase. You feel like you need to get it back, you need to get it back now. That's what sportsbooks live for. Bookies make a living off of people not only betting 10% per game or 20% per game, but chasing losses buries people. So if you're over betting games or you're chasing losses, you could win at 60%. And the chances of your bankroll going to zero is still more likely than not. If you're winning, you could win at 60% over the course of an entire year. If you're betting 10, 15, 20% per game and you're chasing losses, you're going to end up with zero more times than not. That is a fact, and it's absolutely crazy how people don't understand that, because these gambling companies cater to your emotions. They want you to bet emotionally. Whereas my clients and myself, going on 4 years now, have strictly placed our bets only based off of math and probability, which is the only way you can make money betting sports long term. It's the only way. The only way you can make money betting sports long term, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, is off of math and probability. That's it. Managing your bankroll is the most crucial part of sports betting. Like I just said, you could win at 55% or 65%. If you can't manage your bankroll correctly, you're gonna end up with no money. And the entire point of betting sports is to make money. People lose and they like to get it back the next day or even later on that same day. You could be on a cold streak and you could lose again and again and again. The greatest sports bettor of all time has had losing months where he's lost days in a row, weeks in a row, that accumulated to a loss on the entire month. So if you think that your next play is gonna win, so you're gonna double up on it, if you think the next bet has to win because you're due for a win, you're gonna double up, triple up on it, it is a surefire way to end up with zero, right? Get even or get even worse, people like to say. That is a complete amateur saying. Professional sports bettors don't do that. There's no rush. If I take a loss, there's no rush for me to get it back that day, the next day, even that week. I'm playing games that have value. That's how you win long term. And I know the entire goal of this is to win long term, as do most of my clients. That is why we win long term. I don't send out plays and I don't bet games because we lost or won prior. That is a huge no-no. You might not know this, but I'm sure it would make sense to you. Out of all the football games on the weekend, the most heavily bet game on a football weekend is Monday Night Football, and coming in second is Sunday Night Football. Can you take a guess why that is? It's not because everybody's finding value on these games. It's not because it's the best matchup of the week. It's not because somebody thinks they have a lock. It's because people are up and they want to take house money and double it, so they're going to fire on the late game, even though they had no intention of betting that game in the first place. Or, which is what happens most weeks, people are down that week and they want to make this money back before the next weekend of football comes, so they are slamming desperation bets and desperation parlays on Sunday night games and Monday night games. They're the two most heavily bet football games of the entire week. When I say it out loud, this sounds like this should be common sense. But people cannot help themselves. They're emotionally driven into chasing and betting these late games. Got to get it back tonight, bro. I'm going to get this back tonight. I took a loss at the 1 o'clock game. I took a loss in the 4 o'clock game, 8 o'clock game. I'm doubling up. I got to get this money back. That is how you lose money long term, plain and simple. All right, so if you're struggling with bankroll management, I highly recommend you do this. Number one is you do not bet every single game the same. Every game that I handicap and I have systems on has a different amount of value. I have a different amount of expected value on every single play. That's why some plays I'll bet a quarter unit on. I had a quarter unit play last night, it won. Some plays I'll bet a half unit on. I had a half unit play as well yesterday. I had two actually, one won and one lost. And then I have full unit plays, full 1 unit of my bankroll. I have 1.5 unit plays, and then rarely I'll have a 2 or 3 unit play. They do not come up often. I do not bet 2 or 3 units on a game just because I'm down a lot or up a lot. I only bet 2 or 3 units on a game when I find 2 to 3 units worth of value. I have so much expected value on this, it would be improper of me as a professional sports bettor not to bet 2 units on this game or not to bet 3 units on this game. And it's extremely rare. So far in 2025, I've only had 1 2-unit play, and it was a push. It was a hockey game earlier this year, and it was a tie. Got my money back. Prior to that, I haven't had a 2-unit play since November 2024. It was a college football game, and it won. 2-unit plays are extremely rare for me, but they hit at a high percentage because I have such a high percentage of expected value on that game. That is the entire reason. The lower my unit sizes go per game, the less expected value I have in that play. Number 2, for your unit size, I highly recommend you betting 1% to 3% per unit. So if your bankroll is, let's just say $100, a 1-unit play, you would be betting to win $1. If it's an underdog or a plus money play, you would be risking $1. If you have a 3-unit play and your bankroll is $100, a 3-unit play, you'd be betting to win $3. Or if it's a plus money play, you'd be risking $3. People want to know, what do you do with the profits? How do you compound it? Because I talk about compounding your bankroll. This is how, when you start sports betting and you win month after month, year after year, this is how your bankroll grows and you can make a lot more money. Compound interest in sports betting. How do you compound your bankroll? There are 2 different ways that you could go about compounding your bankroll. Number 1 is what most people probably do, and it's either bi-weekly or every month. So every 2 weeks, you reevaluate your bankroll, or every 4 weeks, you reevaluate your bankroll. For most people, I would err on the 4-week side. Month to month, you could reevaluate your bankroll, and then you come up with your new unit size, okay? So let's just say your bankroll is $100, and in January, you profit 10 units in January. Start of February comes, your bankroll is now $110. I'm just using these small numbers so you could understand the concept. So now your unit size in January, let's say you were going 1%, your unit size was $1 of 1% of $100. But now at start of February, your bankroll is $110. So now your unit size would be $1.10, right? Obviously nobody really has a $100 bankroll, but you get the point. And obviously, the bigger your bankroll, the more that 1% adds up. So let's say you started January with a $10,000 bankroll and your unit size is 1%. So you're betting 1 unit plays to win $100. Let's say you pick up those 10 units in the month of January. Now to start the month of February, bankroll is now at $11,000. So your 1%, your new unit size would be $110. And every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks, you compound and you grow. If you're finding plays with value and you're managing your bankroll correctly, you compound and grow year after year. And I also made a video explaining how much money a $5,000 bankroll would be compounded just making 5 units per month over the course of 20 years. And it's absolutely insane. You would not believe how much money that turns into. The second way you could compound your bankroll is a goal-oriented bankroll compounding style, okay? So let's say your bankroll is $10,000. You want to reevaluate your bankroll every 20% gain. So you have a $10,000 bankroll. Your unit is, if you're betting 1%, it's $100. If you're betting 2%, it's $200. If you're betting 3%, it's $300. So you would bet with your $10,000 bankroll with the same unit sizes until you profit 20%, until your bankroll goes from $10,000 to $12,000. Then at $12,000, you would reevaluate your unit sizes. Your new 1% unit would be $120 instead of $100. And the same thing if you have a losing month. Same thing if you're on a cold streak or if you start off the season or start off the year on a losing streak or cold streak, same thing goes for trending downward. Reevaluate your bankroll every 20% gain or every 20% loss. You start with $10,000, you lose $2,000 over the first couple months, your bankroll is now $8,000. You reevaluate your bankroll, your new 1% unit size is $80 instead of $100. Doing it in a goal-oriented way is actually a very, very good and very smart way to preserve your capital and protect your bankroll. Because as a professional sports bettor, and obviously I'm just using these numbers as example, no professional sports bettor has a $10,000 bankroll. You know, I bet more than that on plays. So I'm just using these numbers, round, simple, easy numbers. But having a goal-oriented bankroll compounding system is extremely beneficial to protecting your capital, which as a professional sports bettor, when you have a 6-figure bankroll, a 7-figure bankroll, or some of these sharps have an 8-figure bankroll, or even more, some of these syndicates have high 8, 9 figures to fire off with. It's very beneficial. You want to preserve capital as much as you can when you have these big bankrolls. The more money you have, the more important it is that you protect it. And the 1% of a 7-figure bankroll or an 8-figure bankroll is a lot of money. So the more you compound your bankroll and grow, which I've talked about this many times, the less units you actually have to profit in order to make the same amount of money. As your bankroll is compounded and growing, you'll find yourself actually making more money, a higher dollar amount, even though you've profited less units. And this is something that I've came across in the past 2 years, and it really is fun. So in 2022, let's say I had to profit 10 units if I wanted to make $50,000 in a month. Let's say if I wanted to make $50,000 in a month sports betting, I had to profit at least 10 units that month. And now I'm at the point where I could make that same amount of money by profiting 6 units, 6.5 units in a month. It is a great way to not only protect your bankroll, but also build wealth long term. Compounding your bankroll, this compound interest in sports betting, guys, is extremely effective. It just takes the one thing that most people don't want to do: time. It takes time, it takes discipline, it takes effort, and it takes consistency. All things that amateur sports bettors do not gravitate towards. That's why people chase. That's why people lose their bankroll, have to redeposit. Lose their bankroll, have to redeposit. You keep depositing into your sports betting accounts. When are you going to learn your lesson and figure out that, hey, if I want to actually be able to make a withdrawal from my sports betting account, maybe I should start changing the way I do things. Maybe I should start doing things the right way. I just cashed out for $20,000 yesterday on my biggest play. I had a nice $13,000 Sunday to end the week, and it was beautiful. Day before that, guys, we had our third VIP play in the month of August, and it was our third VIP play winner in the month of August. $17,000 on our VIP play on Saturday. I told everybody I had a ton of value on this game. These are the same August weather systems I've been using all month, and we're only 10 days in. And the craziest thing is, guys, look at this. One of my clients is up over $44,000 so far in August. It's August 11th, if you guys could see that. August 11th. We're only 10 days in. I have a client that's up over $44,000 in the month of August. I'm hoping this is going to be our best August to date. It's already a great one so far, and we're going to keep hammering these weather systems I have, guys. VIP plays are crushing it. If you want to start betting big and you want to manage your money correctly and you want to start actually withdrawing profits from your sports book, like this diamond watch, I bought strictly from sports betting profits from the fall of 2022. I bought this watch in 2023. I had so much money in my sportsbook accounts, I just started withdrawing, and I started buying stuff with it. You want to be withdrawing money from your sportsbook. That is obviously everybody's goal, to make money. You're only going to be withdrawing profits from your sportsbook if you do things the right way. And I promise you guys, it's so worth it every single time. It just takes a little time, a little discipline, and a little consistency.